Hello, my name is Kieran and this is my math vlog. Now, this is day 0 and we're learning rationalizing denominators of radical expressions. Now, an expression isn't even a full equation. It is just a trinomial or a binomial, and you just have to solve it. And in this case, we just have to simplify a fraction. It doesn't seem so hard now, does it? But math class, for me, is a very difficult thing. From the very beginning, it was very difficult. But the thing I can say about this is, the way for me, as I understand it, to actually know, go through it, for me to trudge along the path that's an uphill slope, that's a very distant and long journey, it is all brought by 3 things I actually think of: determination, strength, and finally, I think it'd be patience. Because math is a process. It is not something that came so naturally to me like music or art or English. In fact, math is a very difficult subject. It is the most difficult for me, at least. Now, with this topic, it is so simple, but to me, I make it so difficult, and I don't know how to do it. But over time, I actually find it very easy because I follow these 3 things, these 3 virtues, or these 3, traits that I follow. And these 3 things really are just a guiding path for me to go through everything in math. Now, how I see it, every day, I do my best to participate. But then again, that's only if I know the answer. That's to say, I have to pay attention. Because math really demands your attention. Math demands your full attention. And because it demands your full attention, I really have to put my heart and soul into it. I have to think one tract. I have to be so fully determined to accomplish my goal. And because I accomplish this goal, I can say to myself, it isn't really that hard. It's simply just a long process that I just have to understand and make my friend. And day to day, after school, I have to allot more time. I realize this. I am failing, and it is not a good feeling to fail. I have gotten more 65s than I can count on my hands and toes. And that's to say, what number of 65s can I get until I actually know when to stop. And I realized it's just my study habit. I only allot 2 hours to my study time. I should allot 3 every day, or enough time for me to actually understand it. Because I shouldn't put a gap. I shouldn't put a time limit to what I want to do, because it's all just understanding and it takes time. I don't need to put a cap on how much time I need to take to understand it. I need to understand it knowing that my goal and purpose is to know what it is about and how I can be better in the future. And I think that's how I can become better. It's just really being patient with it, understanding the subject. Even though sometimes the teacher really, the pacing, even if it's really slow, it's still so fast for me because it's all Greek, and how things are said, it's like I don't understand. I don't comprehend it as well as my peers do. But then again, math is like a relationship. I should understand it one-on-one. And that's to say, that's like every other relationship. Relationships with people, relationships with partners, with businesses, with other subjects. And with all this in mind, math isn't just one tracked lesson. It isn't just a single narrow road to one pertaining solution, one pertaining answer. It's not always something equals to something. It's not always 2 things that are the same. It really is something that will help you with other things. It has a constant. It has similarities. And that's to say, these similarities will help me understand what math is and how to go about it. And that in itself is something I understand from math. That's the one thing I take home from math every day, that it's so hard and that it really takes my patience, my time to understand it. And that's really a challenge, because I shouldn't get used to what's easy, what I'm used to, what the I should understand the fundamentals of how to study and not just my own way of it. Because then, knowing the fundamentals, I can mold my way. I can make it better with not just math, my other subjects. And I think that's what's good about math. That it doesn't just help my other subject, it helps me. And that's to say, how do I, in the start of everything, how do I help myself with math? And that's really just having patience, having time to figure out what really is and what to do afterwards. I should have a plan. I should schedule things. I should see things so coherently that in the end of the day, I have a plan. I have an action to what to do afterwards, and that'll help me move forward. I can say that I have progress and that it helped me understand it. And eventually, this understanding can become victory. And this victory can help me obtain more victory. And that's just because of patience and determination and strength alone. And I think those are my guiding principles. How I see it. How I understand math. But then I should understand too that with math, I should really just not see it as hard in the first place. In fact, I should just see it as something simple. Something that shouldn't bother me as much. It's something that I should do and I should understand like a person, not as a duty, but as a responsibility. Not something I was told to do, but something I feel that I should do. Thank you for listening.